Good evening. It's so incredibly weird. I don't know why I suddenly have like Little Shop of Horrors in my head. You know what? I think I'm gonna play that. You guys won't hear it, but I will, and that's what's important. That should be that, right? Make sure I'm on the right one. That, maybe, yes. Shit, what version is this? Ah, fungal. This is 9, right? This is number 9. I think it's number 9. Number 9? Number 9? Let me just see here for a second. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. My computer just wants me to punch it. Yeah, tonight's 9. Okay. I was like trying to remember what the hell goddamn session this is. I'm trying to be up to par, you know what I mean? Up to snuff. Alright. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna listen to that. Alexa, play the Little Shop of Horrors original movie soundtrack. Make sure I got the right one before I get started. Yeah, that sounds right. Cool. Groovy. All right. So, while I was at work, in between phone calls, I was fucking around on Microsoft Paint. And, I mean, ignore the desk in this because it's sloppy Microsoft Paint crap. But I think I came out with a pretty good color sketch for the figure. So I'm going to hold that up. Hopefully I got it right because I'm realize I'm looking at the live cut, not my actual OBS. Okay, let me start typing that for you. As best I can. Okay. So once we're done, we should be having something that looks sort of close to that. Alright, so colors. We need our light red. I'm just going to put that up there. Windsor Newton, if you guys want to give me a little sponsorship, I'm just saying. If you don't, I mean, Royal Talents. Just throwing it out there. Or even better. Lucas? Huh? Come on. Somebody. Anybody know anybody in the paint business? Could use a fucking sponsorship. Now, but we're not going to go straight with that color here, because that's not going to work for us. I'm like, where the fuck did I put the lid? I gotta say, I'm quite happy with this week's results so far, streaming-wise. I just want to thank everybody for their support, because it's been a good week. I think picked up a couple. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I think I have 4, right? Yeah, 4 new followers of this week, and that's big to me. I mean, I appreciate that, guys. I need a small flat either. I need like a solid, like, you know, like as someone would refer to it like an A+ cup. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need. It's not quite flat, but you know what I mean. That's terrible. I'm a horrible person for that comment. Goes off in 7 and then you start down. Wish I could sing like that. Alright, so we're going to be putting in a little Lizard and Crimson into our Indian Red there. Light Red is what it's called now. Sorry. And I really need to transition that. I've just called it Indian Red for years and years and years and years. And I always hated the name. I despised it. It's not like if you heard me go on the rant before about this one. I was probably going to not lose the sponsorship for Winton. But it's they call it flesh tint. And it's like, no, it's white people tint. It's the difference. There's lots of colors in flesh. Slop. Downtown. Down on Skid Row. I think we're going to have to end up taking all that. It's not mixing in very cleanly. I wanted to have a real red hint to it, so. When they rip your slips and relationships are no good down on Skid Row. Life I've always been poor. I keep asking God what I'm for. And he emails me, gee, I'm not sure. Sweep that floor, kin. Oh. I was living life as an orphan. Child of the streets. Skid Row. Give me shelter, a crow, some bread and a job. Treats me like dirt. Calls me a slob, which I am. So why do I have your home address when your life's a mess? The reasons the status quo. Down Skid Row. The way to get out of here. 'Cause I'm gonna pray I'll get out of here. Say you'll get out of here. Someone give me a shot while I rot here. Alright, so while I'm trying to focus on this a little bit, just should give you something to discuss. And I'll use this song as a starting point. Let me see here. How do I want to put it? Eminem's Lose Yourself is the thinking man's Skid Row. Discuss. Yeah, about leaving the... That's a stupid thought. I don't know, it popped in my head. I do. Naru. Naru. saying this plane's kind of. You know, walk away. I'm walking by this one for you. And do. The eclipse of the sun. Say do. Audrey too. This man sold it to me anyway. For $1.95. That cracked me up when it's Christopher Guest in that role of the guy coming in to buy flowers, like just a weird little stopping point, like. And I know it's before really his, Christopher Guest movies became a thing, but it's just always funny when you see these little ones, like little roles for people that are significantly larger. But you figure, I'm sure Rick Moranis and Christopher Guest were like, definitely rolling in the same circle, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. After all, you figure it doesn't take very long to go from one to the other through Saturday Night Live and SCTV. You've given me zip. Oh God, how I miss you. Oh God, my tease. Oh please, grow for me. Exposure, get so thrive. Heart like I'm supposed to. You're barely alive. Levels of moisture from desert to mud. What do you want from me, blood? Oh, damn roses. Damn thorns. You vain. See that you're not happy. Lest I open a vein. I'll give you a few drops. That'll appease. Now please, oh please, room for me. I mentioned this before, but I really do like to do this like kind of cross-like pattern on a lot of flat surfaces because it gives it a lot of texture. First off. Additionally, for me, I always get very cautious around my edges about making sure your eye doesn't go running off of them. So if I just did this flat this way, which is now like out of focus again, what happens then is that it's going to find itself kind of, your eye's just going to zip on it and just grab it and just go. So I try to avoid that if I can. And so I find it like if you kind of go straight up and down in this way, this time it might be okay because it would hit the floor, which is definitely going to be a very almost straight across thing. But I still like the idea of keeping it a little more choppy. It makes it a little harder for the eye to just run off. Let's see. Somewhere that's green. This was really cool, actually, behind-the-scenes stuff regarding this movie. If you've ever seen it, just hearing how Frank Oz conquered the technical issues behind Audrey 2, and how they couldn't get it to look right at normal speed, but they figured out that if they sped the film up, that it would look pretty good, and it made it look a little more natural when Audrey 2 was talking. So everybody who interacted with it when they had a scene with her talking, or hit talking, or I don't know how to refer Audrey 2 as a mean green mother from outer space, but definitely it was a male voice. So what do we call her? Him, her, but it's a plant. Anyway, Audrey 2, anyone that's interacting with the plant had to slow down their lines. And so when they're singing, especially you think about the scene where Rick Moranis is like face to face with the thing, gosh, sure looks like bland food to me, that type of thing. Coming up, don't worry, I'll sing like Scuttle for you then. But they had to slow it down, and they had to work that out so that and time it and slow the tape down of the audio that they were lip syncing to, so that it would work out all perfect. That's pretty amazing. I mean, there is context in that, which of course is that this is Frank Oz we're talking about, who, fucking Muppet genius. All right, yes, ma'am. I won't lie. There's probably a little influence in this desk in the thanks to the game House Flipper I've been playing. Because in that game, there's only select furniture options, and I find myself really liking the wood cherry colors. Yes, ma'am. It's having some fun now. Some fun now. Sure is. I really do got to figure out a better way to do this microphone. Or get a better microphone. That's probably the better way to do it, but maybe just a better arm. It just sucks. Right now, like I said, the summertime for us is just always rough. No real cash for us. So unless I find out next week that I sold a bunch of paintings at the Exton Square Gallery, I assume they would have told me about, So I'm guessing it's a no. It's with a BB gun. It's got this. And when I was done, I found a pussy cat and bash his head. That's what my mama said. What did she say? She said, my boys, I think someday you'll find a way to get your natural tendencies. You'll be a dentist. You have a talent for causing things pain. So be a dentist. Will tell you to be inhumane. Before the priesthood, teaching would suit you still less. Be a dentist. You'll be a success. Now, funny to me is my dentist, Dr. Strock, has a like almost a running gag in the fact that he'll look at my children and say, they'll start looking at them, and he's cleaning their teeth, and he'll talk about how nice their teeth look or whatever. Even if he does, if he doesn't find anything, no matter what, he still says this. He goes, "Don't be a dentist." He goes through the whole thing. Yeah, he goes, "It's just so much work," and I don't know. He cracks me up every time. I love Dr. Strock. I don't know what I'm gonna do when he retires. And I know he's getting close to that age, and I don't want him to. My buddy Bill turned, he recommended him to me years and years ago. He's very cool. Yeah. He's like the type that, like, dude, my tooth broke and it's Sunday. He's like, or say it's Saturday. He'll be like, all right, just come into the office tomorrow. I'll open up. And he'll do it. And, he'll do whatever he's got to do. Feed me. Feed me. Feed me some more. Feed me all night long. That's right, boy. You can do it. Feed me some more. Feed me all night long. Oh, it's a little out of focus again. If you feed me some more, I can grow up big and strong. I really wish I could put some lighter. Like a Cadillac car, or a guy shot on jackpot. You know what? I forgot the. One more place I didn't do it. Hold on. The big wheel. Dining out for every meal. I'm the plan to make it all real. You're gonna get it. Hey, I'm your genie. I'm your friend. I'm your willing slave. Check out sticks. I have so many. Should I go? Mutilation. The Ritz. In it. Gee, I like a Harley machine. Running around like I was James Dean. Let's go get it. A lot of folks deserve to die. Oh, Tui, that's not right. But it's true. If you want a rationale, it is very hard to see. No. The guy sure looks like plant food to me. The guy sure looks like plant food to me. Food to me. Oh, he's resty, treating her rough, smacking her right. No, he's talking so tough. You need blood, and he's got more than enough. I need blood, but he's got more than enough. So go get it. So do we think Seymour ever explains to her what happened to him? You know, he plays like a very, you know, good guy, but, you know. Oh, I just don't even think about that. By the way, I forgot. Goya? No, not, no. Son Henry Seymour, taken goodbye. All right, so I just threw in a bunch of links here. Not that really there's anybody, right? But if anybody's interested, especially for the prints and stuff, the Society 6 page is doing a huge sale right now. 40% off of the prints, posters, wall hangings, and I forget what else. It says it on this page as you get up there. 30% off like phone cases. Let's see what else. And then 20% off everything else. So it's a good sale. It's about the best I've seen from them, especially for prints. If you're interested at all, you see original artwork, but you're like, that's expensive. I mean, I won't lie. I try to sell my stuff for a couple $100 each. I mean, stuff like The Last Breath back there. Like, I got that thing up for about $9.50. Just because that was a fuck ton of work, and I ain't selling that thing cheap. It's one of my favorites that I've done. And like I said, it took crazy number of hours. You think about how long this little piece has taken, and imagine that I basically painted that entire thing with that little guy. Little guy. So, I'll be honest. When it comes to stuff like that, I'm very, not going to part with it type thing easily. But there's prints of that thing all over the Size 6 store. So, today 40% off. That ain't bad. Maybe that's framed as far as I'm aware. So, check it out. Any bit helps right now. Let's see. Crowbar. Slightly meat. Yours. This is the Top of Life magazine. Ratings. Top is mine. It's mine. You're the host of You Lucky Dollar Sign. Unique shopping habit. It's not a question of merit. It's a demand and supply. I think we're going to just stick with a nice little solid brown right here. Now, the original ending of this movie was supposed to be the Audrey 2, spawns, gets put into all sorts of different homes and everything, and takes over the world, killing everyone. Have you ever seen the uncut or the alternate ending one? It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, giant Audrey 2 is like smashing the city and shit. But in doing so, it violates the rest of the movie. Allow me to explain. Seymour had to give the damn thing blood. All right? He had to give it his blood to just grow up a little bit. But Seymour was the perfect patsy for the Audrey 2. You know what I mean? Like, he had something that he truly, truly desired that the plant's violence could technically give him. And so I find it a little weird then that if you sell, 1 million Audrey 2s, how many people are really going to start, okay, I'll give you, they'll feed them their own blood. But at some point, they're going to go, I'm not killing people for you. I do want these other elements, though. The chair, the desk, these non... I don't want to call them non-elements because they're not non-elements. They're part of the painting, obviously. But I want the non-living elements, or not that these things are living. They're supposed to be nightmares. Oh, hey, your manners. Vintage your soul. Son, I go my way. I'm gonna do things at all. But I want them to be neutral. Like, I want them to kind of drift into the background. Again, and not only like the same way that these things are, but to be almost, almost unregistered in your eye. Like, have you ever heard of the? And I've heard of this before, but I saw a thing about it today, which actually reminded me of it. It's called No Sea Green on from Disney. And if you haven't heard of this, basically it's a shade of green that Disney uses to hide like backstage shit, like they don't want you to see, like a utility door or whatever. Um, you know, like access doors for your, for their rides and stuff. Little things like that. I don't know what you're missing. No, you never did. You don't know what you're looking at. That's tough titty, kid. So what I say up yours. Now loves me, green mother, from outer space, and I'm mad. Me, green mother, there's that space, and looks she's getting mad. Me and green, I am bad. Mine. Keep this in. Keep this in. Don't mean shit. I heard this in a while. Bust your balls. Sounds like Pee Wee Herman when he starts laughing. My son thought it was, actually, when we first watched this together. It's like, Dad, is that Pee Wee Herman? And yes, my kids know who Pee Wee Herman is. They've watched Pee Wee's Big Adventure. And they watched, I can't remember, what was the sequel? They, sequel with Joe, whatever the fuck his name is. Played Alcide. Now I'm putting this here, but I think it's going to be more of a, I'm going to hit the violet color in there. That's it. Yeah, don't feed the plants. Yeah, I think this is from the cutscene. Now I can go. Alexa, shuffle my music. Alexa, skip. There's one downside with painting with some of the brown colors. Looks like I shit myself. And wiped my hand with my own hand. All right. Let's try to keep going. Let's do this. All right. Let's see here. I have to imagine that even if there's still a little moisture in it, that ultramarine violet is just not in a good place anymore. So we're gonna just put a little more on there. Somebody went through the coat with it too at some point. If my color test was accurate. That rag, so I need another one set. This is a pretty good liquidy-ness to itself. Viscosity. There, just to make it. I do feel bad. This is like the time period when it becomes like all the other paintings. So I've got to start kicking this thing to the side. Like, get out of my way. Get out of my way. So we'll be a little less talkative, I guess. I'm going to switch that up a little. Thicker. Because it's like, it's shadowy, but at the same point, this is pretty like tight to the floor, you know what I mean? I think I get away with it in the other places. Using the violet and all the like, you know, an ultramarine. But here I think I need to use the it will come across as a more natural thicker, extra thicker. To be honest, sometimes when I'm listening to this, like, yeah, I'm listening to music, so I don't hear the echo back in my voice. For like, that sound like this. I don't know, but well, I know I made that sort of sound, but the you get that little bit of resonance in your head sometimes in the silent parts of the song, and it's the wrong word. It just comes off like thicker, 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 thicker. Boom, boom. I've been around the streets. Don't know why. Spend all my money. Get that new car. She's spending her time, but it's sometimes I feel like I've been tied to the whipping post. Tied to the whipping post. Tied to the whipping post. Good Lord, I feel like I'm dying. Here's where we're going to do some little extra layering here just to make sure that this sort of blends in so that it feels like that desk doesn't have an end. You know what I mean? Like I want that desk to feel like it's our transitioning space. Me. What have you done? Right. Sometimes I feel. Sometimes I feel that I've been down to the whipping post. Good Lord, I feel like I'm dying. Again, I think once we start adding in some of these real mixture colors, these areas that blend in between the mystery area behind us, Sometimes I feel. Now I got to get a some fresh yellow ochre out to get it really where I need. But we're gonna put a little extra stuff here. To the whipping post, tied to the whipping post. Good Lord, I feel like I'm dying. Damn, that's already starting to dry out. Just a little bit, not too heavy. There we go. Is at a point where I want it to be liquidy, like, you know, I want it to have a nice smoothness to it, but it's starting to dry up on the inner parts. Boom, bow, boom, bow, boom. Feels like a thing. Yeah. 'Cause I just kissed my baby. And you thought I am me. 'Cause I just kissed my baby. Feels so good. So good. 'Cause I just kissed my baby. Wow, wow, wow. 'Cause I just kissed my baby. I gotta give some props to my wife, by the way. Because she was talking about, she goes, "So you going out to paint today?" And I said, "Yeah, I gotta go out to paint." I said, "I'm gonna try to get out a little early." And I said, "And I'm probably gonna have to paint tomorrow too." And I was like waiting for like the, you know, we got all this stuff to do. But no, she was like, "I understand." She goes, "I know you don't want to leave it." She goes, "But we do need to clean out the car. You're gonna need to pack all, you know." She's gone through like my whole list. So. Feels like new. 'Cause I just kissed my baby. I guess the real test will be what happens with coming home from work tomorrow. Because that's going to be a test. Today was like nothing, which is really bizarre. Like today I got home, I was only on the Blue Route for about 20 minutes. Maybe, well, I guess 22. Something like that. So that's like for Blue Route, if you guys aren't from the area, and I imagine most of you aren't. Because I'm imagining this is being watched in the future at some point by people, and I've had like 1,000, followers and shit. Never gonna happen. But anyway, leave me to my delusions. No, it's like normally a ride home for me on a good day, good day, is like 45 minutes. So the fact that we're like during a holiday week, and you thought maybe a lot of people, would be taking off or whatever and traveling today or something, nothing. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, it's a weekend, but it's a weekend where, holiday was in the middle of the week, so it might fuck with everything, and some people may be out, and 'cause I just kissed my baby. Oh. I just kissed my baby. don't put too much of these greens near this cat, though, because I don't want him losing his space. You know what I mean? I just realized it did that. I don't like it. So we're going to take a little bit back through the ultramarine violet. Actually, you know what? Maybe a little alizarin there will work nice, too. Make him pop out. This is kind of one of those spots where it's too loud. So I turned it up when I was listening to the yeah, it's gonna look nice there. When I was listening to the soundtrack, because it was mixed a little low. But now it's like some of these are remasters, and so they're like BAM in my ear. Of mine. Let us leave all confusion and all this illusion behind. There's my personal fate. For life. Oh. Oh. When my happy heart sinks, your love has given me wings. Scratch over the shirt. Whoa, hey on body. Whoa, under my happy heart sinks, love has given me wings. But the baby. Drew back the curtain to see for certain what I thought I knew. Far, far away, someone was creeping, but the world was sleeping and dreaming. I wore my with golden linings, bright colors shining, wonderful then. And in the east, the dawn was breaking, but the world was waiting. A flash of drums, a flash of light, my golden coat flew out of sight. Colors faded. It into darkness, I was left alone. May I return to the beginning? The light is dimming, and the moon is too. The world and I, we are still waiting, still hesitating, and dreaming. I don't know if I mentioned it on this one or not. I mean, I talk about the breakdown I had in 2017 pretty often. So I'm sure I mentioned the effects of it, per se. But it's that exact moment when it hit me is why this song's really actually in my playlist, like on a constant, like, ready to be there whenever, kind of random. I know I talked about my Facebook page when I streamed one time. Like I said, I don't remember if I ever did it here. Maybe I did. But it's the part where he says, the colors faded in darkness and I was left alone. Because it's the exact feeling or exact moment, that I really can say that I realized something was fucking wrong. Where the path to the breakdown started, that's still kind of up for debate. The kind of pseudo-accepted starting point, and I'll explain that a little better, is at the death of my friend who died of a heroin overdose. It's the easiest point to say, this is when shit's definitely started to go sour. Is it 100% accurate? I don't think so, because I think, as I recall things, stuff at work had already been going down the shitter for a while before that. I was already feeling like I had kind of gotten tricked into taking the job that I took, that I'm still at. And then I feel like I was tricked into another position there, which is the one I'm now in currently. So like one was being tricked into the company, and then the other was being tricked into this other position, which I was told would be a better spot for me, and it's fucking was 1,000 times worse, and I can't seem to get the hell out of it. Because I have journals, a few that are still around from that time, and they were bad. They were saying about things that this is wrong. This is a bad fit, and I need to find a way out or something. I need to figure out something. So there's a lot of stuff like that. But at Bob's death is when shit really went, yeah, because when he died, it was during a painting I was working on of my son, and the moment that I was capturing on this painting of my son was very much a Carpe Diem like moment. It was him riding horseback, and I've said many times, my son's very skittish of animals, and he so for him to make this decision, like, I want to ride a horse, was like, fucking A, let's do it, dude, let's go. I always try to encourage that stuff with them, with my kids, when they can beat that, element of fear to go do something kind of cool and unique and new. So I'm working on this painting. Now, Bob also had a tattoo. It's a Carpe Diem. That was like his life motto kind of thing. So it was really bad timing kind of thing, I was kind of struggling with the painting prior to it, and when he died, it was like I forced my way through it. I finished it, but when I tried to do another painting after that, I couldn't get I couldn't find the brush strokes. I couldn't find the colors. Everything was wrong, and I sealed up the studio pretty much for 3 years. I mean, we use it for storage. So I mean, I was in and out of here, but as far as coming in here to work, I didn't do it. I wouldn't come in here to paint. I didn't paint. I kind of started to like. I don't want to start a debate if anybody's actually chiming in here and checking it out, but I kind of did like a Luke Skywalker where he says he cut himself off from the Force. It was like that. Okay, not trying to start a Last Jedi thing, but okay, let's not do it there. But I cut myself off for a few years. With only the exception being an occasional museum trip. Mostly when I was out of town. Like I would go to, I had business trips in Chicago I had to take for training classes. And I would take the day after I was supposed to travel home. I'd take a later flight. And so I could hang out and go to like I went to the Art Institute of Chicago, stuff like that. But the thing was that, like I said, for the most part, I was disconnected from my artistic side. The only sort of thing that got me by, though, even though I wasn't working, is that I could at least always look out and see my paintings, if that makes sense. I could always look, like at my old office building before they moved us. There was a trail. It's the bridge to Treywind Farm, or the Treywind Farm Trail, which is where the bridge painting when I first started streaming came from. So if you want to see that, check out the old archives. Just FYI. But so I could like look out there and I could see how I would paint, that field or whatever. I could look at how I could paint those trees, or if I would walk on the trail, I could look at all these different places where I would do, here's how I would paint it, in my head. Oh no, I need some lizard over here. So anyway, a little bit, just past the 3rd-year anniversary of Bob's death, I had an attack while I was at work. Just after getting off the phone with a customer. My boss told me to go take a walk after I'd already taken a walk, because I knew I was like using it. And I looked out into the field, so that I could always look at least see how I would paint it, and I couldn't see the colors. So, I could see what I knew would be a blue, but it wasn't the blues I was used to. I could see what I knew would be, green for grass or whatever, but again, it was paled out, I could see that there was sunlight on them, but I couldn't see the bright yellows that I was used to. I couldn't figure out how I was going to work out the colors to, like all that stuff, because I couldn't see them in the intensity that I was used to. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Another song that really works well to explain it is Richter's Mercy, which is on Hilary Hahn's Retrospective. Like that song, the first time I heard that one was like, this is the exact feeling my soul made. Like that was literally like the way that the violin will like almost whine and scream. Like, whine's a bad term. That's not right. That implies like an infant, like, but the cry was pretty much accurate to what I went through. It was really like a moment of feeling alone in a way I hadn't felt ever. I mean, even when I went through like, my separation and divorce and stuff through college, and friends were abandoning me to side with my ex-wife, it's like, I had friends stuck with me too. I don't want to downplay their importance either. But the fact was that I had my work, no matter what. I had the teachings of my master to fall back on, and that was the first time I did not. I'm a letter, I'm a better. Oh my God. She said, shit on me. I know you're looking at going, Brian, you're making a fucking mess there. And I am. It's alright, I know where I'm going with it. And I know I wasn't really going to work on him right now, but I'm kind of in a spot where I'm okay with that. I can move this along quickly. I'm not too worried about it. Like if you guys are super concerned about it, ready to watch this. I know, you guys are like definitely worried about it. I can hear you. I'll go with that, I'll go with that. I'll take a last bit of that. I don't need a lot from here. I'm a lady, can you save me? It's a song, here I have come. It's a season of a reason I have these. Whoop, I didn't want to do that much. Oh well. That's fine. We're fine. I'm fine. How are you? Actually works very well if I pick up a little bit of the, what did we use there? That was chromium, right? That was chromium. Now it's very liquidy, so hopefully it doesn't run. That would be bad. Would you believe me when I do you? You are the queen of my heart. Please don't deceive me when I hurt you. Just ain't the way it seems. Shit, I covered up the wrong thing. Why did you guys warn me? Alright, there should be something right about here. We're just going to kind of sort of carve it out, and we'll come back to it. I forgot the damned, it's like an etching tool or something on there. Would you believe me when I tell you you're the queen of my heart? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you. Just ain't the way it seems. Can you feel my love buzz? 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 9 o'clock, not bad. Out here. Man, ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang. Nothing to fuck with. Nothing to fuck with. And Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Oh, I forgot I added that. That's the thing that bothers me, like I said, with Amazon Music, is sometimes it takes so long. It'll play the same things time and time again, and then it's like I completely forgot I added Wu-Tang on there. Like how do you do that? I didn't forget you had Wu-Tang. That's how long it's been since I heard it on a random shuffle. That's fucked up. Alexa, skip. That makes me want to, like, literally, like, skip anything I've heard in, like, the past, like, you know, like 2 weeks or something. Yeah, just to be like, see what it's hiding from me. This is actually nothing. Alexa, skip. Alexa, for real, skip. Literally just started playing the song that I just skipped before, or something so similar. Oh, sorry. Yeah, some yellow's gonna be needed in that. Some orange is gonna be needed in that too. I don't skip German soprano. I got a weird thing for it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I got a weird thing for German soprano. I don't speak a goddamn lick of German. There's something I love about that sound. Part of me is just thinking if we just get more on there. In other words, like just start getting through and getting his code in. We start getting these things looking like they're supposed to. Like I'll feel better about them. Like move through them and we'll just start cooking, you know, like. I gotta talk with some people too to figure out, like, after I come back, because I had some people ask me about commissions, and I started talking about it, and then I kind of got distracted, and I stopped sending the messages back. So, Jeff and Doug, if you see this, I'm sorry. It was more that this thing just started consuming my brain. Like, that happens, and if we do the commissions, just know that at some point, yours will consume my brain. All's fair, you know? Should mention cadmium red medium over here, yellow ochre I just back on there because I know I'm going to need it. Let's try to get some of that nice gooey medium in there. Let's get nice and sloppy. I know how you kids like them extra sloppy. Sloppy Joes. You guys remember that back when Adam Sandler was funny? Good times, good times. Yeah. How do you scale a buco? What's the rumpus? Here you go. Late on Sunday, the house was a screaming zoo. I couldn't tell if it was a party or a full-on wrecking crew. Bottles of booze in my bathroom, bodies all over my floor. They were charging me a cover at my own front door. When the whole thing's over, there's gonna be hell to pay. 'Cause when it's upside, downside, inside out, what more can you say? Hey, ba-da-da-da-da, yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da-da-da-da, yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da-da-da-da, yeah. What's the rumpus? Cardio, scale the buco. What's the rumpus? This was a cool show, part of the show with Gilg Storm. They had a little kid run up and smash the symbol or whatever. It was cool. Then we running in the kitchen, and it might have been my car. When all things over, there's gonna be hell to pay. 'Cause when it's upside, downside, inside out, what more can you say? Wait, da-da-da-da, yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da-da-da-da, yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da-da-da-da, yeah. What's the rumpus? Cardio, scale the buco. What's the rumpus? damn, I was hoping I'd get like another one tonight. I've been doing pretty well so far the last few sessions. Hope I get one more follower tonight. I guess not. What's in the tree? Peter Potter's on their back. Drunken monkeys are drinking Drano, and the guys are in the backs running out the window. On the call. Music loud enough to shake the shingles off the wall. When the whole thing's over, there's gonna be hell to pay. 'Cause when it's upside, downside, inside out, what more can you say? What more can you say? What more can you say? Hey, da 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 yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da 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 yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da 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 yeah. What's the rumpus? Cardio scalabuco. What's the rumpus? Hey, da 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 yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da 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 yeah. What's the rumpus? Hey, da 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 yeah. What's the rumpus? Cardio scalabuto. What's the rumpus? Hey, da 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 yeah. I think I might have to break out the cadmium red deep too. Maybe that carmine too, because it's that color's just a good, like I said, it's a good mixer color. 'Cause it just it'll go in nicely with something, and then when you want it to be strong, it'll be strong. Alexa, skip. You pain in the ass. There are many, many crazy things. Siri listens a lot, so you know what? Alexa, skip. Let's see what she gives me. Alright, little Bach. Okay. Can't say I'm arguing it. I just have to be careful with it. I think anybody's paying attention. I don't know, but I think I've mentioned this before. I don't think it'll happen again. I think it was a certain time and a certain place, and I think it's more likely to happen again in the natural way than I'm used to. But I know I mentioned it on here before, but again, maybe there's a new viewer. Who knows? I did this painting, which is a painting I wanted to do for quite some time, actually, once I started painting again. It was of a little area on I-476, the Blue Route, where I typically would find myself sitting, usually almost dead stopped, if not completely stopped, pretty consistently for a while. It's right near the Broomall on-ramp as you head southbound, just past their exit. Okay. It's on the northbound side, though, so you have to look out the driver's side window to see it. But it's this nice little hill. There's a... No, this is too easy. Alexa, skip. Nah, you went right back to another block, huh? Alright, that's alright. Alright, anyway. I think if it does it again, I might skip it. I don't know. We'll see. The thing about it is that it's a nice little place for someone like me to rest their eyes, especially as after my breakdown and after I had to go back to work. It was a lot of effort was made into leaving work behind, because that was a major problem. So I would bring it mentally home with me. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't work on it at home per se. Like it wasn't doing overtime or anything crazy like that. You know, pretty much don't do overtime anymore ever. Now it's just like, no, it's too dangerous. But I had it in my head that I wanted to do this painting for a while. Now, of course, once I decided I wanted to start, I wanted to get a photo of this thing so I could bring it home into a painting of it, I had trouble getting it stopped there again. But I finally did one day. Sun hit it great. There was this beautiful cloud arrangement behind it. Kind of looked like fire, in the sky. Like it was really neat. So I was like, cool. This was like, almost Providence. So I got my picture, and I said to myself, no. I said, I thought to myself, though, I said, I want to do this, though, at a time when I will need green. No, okay, it's just like, I thought I had brown on my head. So I was thinking to myself, if I do it during winter, if I plan this one for, like even early winter, it'll put me in a really good place. It'll help me fight like the nastiness of the holidays. It'll be fresh in my head. It'll keep like, especially again, I don't have seasonal depression. I have it all year round. It's always that way. But it does get worse, I guess, right post holidays because I'm one of those houses that goes really bright. So once it gets dark, you know what I mean? Like once the Christmas lights are all down and stuff, and the neighborhood's dark, and it's like I get really. So I thought this would be, if I could finish it before the end of Christmas, I'd have this nice little green thing drying on my wall. That'd be a great thing to have, right? So I planned this. This is how I thought about doing it. And so I'd take my picture, and then every time I went past it, I would look at it to make sure it stayed in my head, like that emotional sense. Because it's the downside of painting from pictures. I don't like doing it. I'd like to paint in person if I can, but I don't have that opportunity anymore. Just the way life is. I mean, if I ever got to make money off of just painting, then yes, I'll be absolutely back to, painting in plein air, But for now, I gotta live with what I got. So, I try to keep those senses, of being in person to it as long as I can. In any way I can. Digressing. Alright, so December comes around. I start working, I start doing all this other stuff. I get through my painting. I start doing the painting. And, unfortunately, like, just the way work went and shit, which is very ironic because this is about a painting of a place where I was usually able to, it was really the place I was able to let go of work every day. I'm sitting in this traffic line, and I look over, I see this nice little green area, and I start thinking about it, think nice thoughts about it, and it's like, I can get rid of work. You know what I mean? I could ditch it in my head. So, I found it terribly ironic that I found myself unable to concentrate on this painting because I had stress of the holidays bothering me, I had work bothering me, and it just was driving me nuts. I couldn't focus on it. And I was a very unhappy camper. Now, I listen to music all the time when I play, and I usually used to not be in the earbuds. It used to be live, but I don't want to get banned from Twitch or from YouTube, so it stays in my ears now. But nothing was working. Nothing I listened to would help me concentrate. I had been on a big Parliament kick up to that point because I know I was going to see them in February, but they weren't helping. I'm a big Nirvana fan. Nirvana wasn't helping. Well, all right. Stop, child. Citizen of the universe. Jeez. Anyway, speaking of the devil. Anyway, but they weren't working. Nothing seemed to be working. You know, I was a big grunge head. Nothing of that was working. Nothing. And usually, like, the angry music especially would get me going if I was in a bad mood. But nothing. Nothing was working. So I went looking. I was like, all right, well, Bach's usually, like, my last resort. Like, it's like, not because it's like, oh, I guess I'll give this a shot. It's more of a, you know, in case of emergency, you know, Bach. But the cello suites that I've had, and I've had for years, weren't working for me either. They weren't, you know, they weren't letting me concentrate. So I was in a really bad place. I'm like, oh shit, I need to figure something out fast. I can't get this painting done. I gotten like the first part, you know, like which was the sky. That worked out pretty well. But once I started getting into the actual trees and the grass, it went to shit. Like I said, I couldn't focus. So I Googled, not Googled, I had an Amazon search, an Amazon Music, just to see what they had on the Prime Unlimited or whatever. And one of the first things that pops up when I searched Bach was Hilary Hahn's Hilary Hahn Plays Bach. Now, I'd never heard of her before. That morning, I should say. I'm not very familiar with classical artists or, you know, modern classical artists, whatever. Musicians who play classical stuff nowadays. I guess I'm trying to figure out how to say this right. So, now it stuck out to me was the fact that I had just seen a commercial for the Philadelphia Orchestra that morning, and she was artist in residence at the time. So they had advertised her name, and I just happened to see it on Channel 6 in the morning. 'Cause I watch my news, you know, every day. 6 ABC, what's up? Anyway, sponsor me. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck, the news is gonna sponsor me. So I I need money. Anyway, I'm just the name popped out, you know. I'm like, wait, I just heard about this lady. So it's like, all right, let's see what the artist in residence at the Philadelphia Orchestra's got. And so I turn it on, sit down to paint, and I basically went into what is best described as like a fugue-like state. Okay. I remember listening to the music. Okay. And that's about where it stops, where my memory stops on that. Album ends. My canvas had more paint on it than it had before. I don't remember putting any of it on there. Okay. Now, I should say that it's not the first time I've gone into that type of like fugue-like state before. It's just the first time that it's ever happened where the painting isn't what did it. So in other words, I've had plenty of times where, you know, I'll have music playing or whatever, and, you know, but I'm working, and then suddenly I don't even realize that the music had stopped an hour ago or whatever, you know. I've had people come into my house and talk to me, you know, and hang out, and I don't remember them being there because it's just on the painting, right? But, as I said, it's always the painting that sticks around, not the other shit. I did a painting of my wife, and I mentioned it before in here, where I went 48 hours without sleeping or eating. I remembered to smoke. I do remember that, because I would go out to smoke, but that was part of my painting processes. If I had to think about something, I'd go out, smoke a cigarette, and I'd play with it. So I used to spin my cigarettes in my hands before, said that before. So I remember that. And it was actually when I was doing that I remembered solving the problem that I had with that painting. So, I digress. I don't remember drinking or going to the bathroom per se, but I assume both happened. Only because when I woke up, when I came out of it, there were Pepsi bottles like all over the place, and and so one would assume that the Pepsi gotta go somewhere. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's not the first time I've had experience with that type of mentality. It's just the first time I had an experience like that where the painting part wasn't the part that stuck around. And I kept doing it. So every night I'd come in here, I put on, it was her first album, Hilary Hahn Plays Bach, which is the first one I listened to. Then it was Violin and Voice and In 27 Pieces, which was her like encores thing that she had done. And every time I was out of it. Every time. I don't remember doing most of that painting. So it kind of sat in this studio for a while. I told my wife it was a lot like it's like a Telltale Heart, like almost scenario. Like it, my brain just had so disconnected from the painting that it was like it kept reminding me. All right, nope, not two in a row. Skip. Not Sir Nose. Devoid of funk. I'm sorry. I listed it so much. Alexa, skip. We're testing it tonight. Break down all that I am. So, going back to it. So, you know, like I said, the majority of that painting was done in this mental state of not being here, basically. And the painting kind of sat there, like literally, like right behind the camera, right back there. And you know, not really, but in my head it was like kind of mocking me, like almost like, you know, going, "You didn't paint me. I'm not yours," you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, "Shut up, painting, yes, you are." "No, I'm not." You know, and it just, the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I was just like, dude, I can't sell this fucking thing because it's not mine. Like, yes, I was the vessel per se, but, and yes, I have a thing where I believe a lot more subconscious mind is really in charge of painting than the conscious mind is. So yes, there's that too, under normal circumstances. But I like to believe it's at least filtered through the conscious mind. And this one was not. This one, the subconscious mind was running entirely on its own. I don't remember, like I said, I conceived of it. I tried to do it, and I failed. And then, for lack of a better term, Hilary Hahn's music made it happen. Yeah, it did the painting. So I eventually shipped this thing off. You know, I found in the archives of her Facebook page. Well, I didn't find it. I shouldn't say I looked through the archives. I searched her reps, like, you know, and I found the in, you know, a post or whatever from, it turns out, like, on her Facebook page, it said, you know, it was actually looking for artwork for the album Retrospective, which had already come out by this point. But I was like, it only just came out, so this has got to be a good address. it's the best I got. So I just sent it along, and I was like, you know what? This is it. I got to get rid of this fucking painting. So I sent her a nice little letter, you know, which is probably the most bizarre letter I think I've ever written. And the fact that it was like, I sent it to her, and I literally told her, don't tell me what happens. Don't respond to this. Should we ever cross paths for whatever fucking reason, like that's ever going to happen, it's probably never going to happen. I think I said, I forget what I ever compared it to. Like basically just telling her, like, look, I just don't want it to happen. If you like it, hang. If you don't like it, hang out. Give it to somebody you don't like, you know. It was kind of like a weird little, alright, this is just, I need to get rid of it, but I don't want to know what happened to it, because if I've come to really enjoy your music, you know, it's like I got tons of these, yeah, I don't have tons, I have like 4 albums, now on my permanent run list or whatever. And it's like, I know I'm getting a 5th in October because she's releasing no one. But it was like, I respect her music. I respect her, and I would respect her opinion because of that. So as such, I may respect it too highly. Because again, I'm a little twisted up here. And that means if she likes it, I may think to myself, I can't do any better. You know? Like my brain will just go, she liked that one. That's the best you got, buddy. It's like, okay, so I can't allow that to happen. If she tells me she doesn't like it, I may transcribe that and transfer that over to kind of thing. So I just said, look, just, and I explained all that. Like, look, my brain's tricky to me. It likes to fuck with me. You know? It told me to seal up my studio at the time when I absolutely should have been painting more often. That's me. Take a chance. Kiss me, I'm Irish. No piece of jig. My belly rose green. Around the ocean to see. And now I like my bevy. Now and then, I'll never deny. But I only drink the days of the week that end with a Y. And ancient I'm a sinner. I'm that little doubt. I am the of. I am the one that your grandmother warned you about. Kiss me, I'm Irish. I am the wild rover. My eyes, they are smiling, and I'm seldom sober. I like my whiskey, and I love to dance. So if you're feeling as lucky as me, take a chance. Kiss me, I'm Irish. No, I'm not New York. So like I said, I'm just half joking. I did say, don't worry, if it happens again, I won't send another one. I'll just start my own fucking storage facility. But I was like, I had to get rid of this. I'm like, I just got to get rid of it. Of course, I should say too, me being wonderful me with my timing. All right. Like I said, it sat there for months just torturing me. All right. I'll be honest, I think stuff I did afterwards kind of sucked. Almost because it was sitting there looking at me like, fuck, dude. The fuck. And I'm like, no, get out of here. And it's like, nah, fuck, I'm here. Yeah. So I sent it out. And it's a one-day thing. Yeah, the agents are up in New York or whatever. So, it's not far from, Philly area. So, I checked the tracking number, so the show was delivered. And I was at this point, I was on my son's camping trip. His 5th grade camping trip with him. And service there was spotty at best. So I I was going through my Facebook feed at like the one place at the camp that we had, service, whatever. And there's an announcement the other day on our Facebook page that she had just had her second child. I was like, at least that day it was the announcement. So it might have been a few days earlier, but I'm like, wow, I sent the painting and it arrives the day she has her second kid. I'm like, wow, I have terrible timing. Or great timing, I don't know. It depends, again. Maybe she likes it. She keeps it and put it in her kid's room. I don't know. Or hates it and burn it to keep the kid warm. No, that just be alright. Hey, time to do it again. All right, let's see. How much can we do in an hour? I'll make a quick throw on this flooring. Where my friend? Hey, you turn me upside down. Hey, feeling so down. Hey. See, I should have put more, like some of the alizarin and shit in there. I missed that one. I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be okay. I think the only thing close to that I've ever done that's a little bizarre on that end would be like, surprise, surprise. This one came during a bout of depression, but it was, God, years and years ago. I mean, let's see. I don't even know. I guess my wife and I must have been dating. Maybe? You know what? It might have been before I even met my wife. It was a long time ago. I had a bunch of portraits of my friends and stuff sitting around the house. And I kind of got through like a really bumming moment. Like I said, I wasn't feeling very hot. And so I decided to deliver them all to everybody. In the dark, in the rain. I don't think I let anybody know that I was doing it. The one I remember was actually that as a portrait of my ex-wife. Maybe it's just hers. I don't remember if I did everybody else's. I mean, I can't imagine I would have left Bill and Mike's outside, but or Drew's. But I remember dropping my ex-wife's off right out front of her house, and it was like pouring rain. So I don't know if that painting ever survived. I don't care to know either. That's a little notification about a buddy of mine's Facebook post about Scott Pruitt. I think I've pretty much already, many times over, kind of explained where I fall on the political spectrum. And I don't really want to necessarily get into a political argument about that, but I will say this. I don't care where you fall under. Scott Pruitt's version of the EPA has been one of the most corrupt, literally ever. I don't know anybody, and if you try to defend it, I'd honestly say you're crazier than I am. That man's been just a scumbag since he's been in office. There are other people that, I'll be honest, I wish had stuck around or I hope don't leave this administration, but his ass needed to get canned a long time ago, and I hope he's aware that just because he resigned doesn't keep his ass out of the fire. I hope they throw the fucking book at his ass. Yeah, I've said my piece on that. And if you don't like it, Who's here? Anybody? Anybody actually here? So I'm trying to figure these out. Are some of these guys like? I mean, like Commander Root did. You clicked follow, and I appreciate that, dude. I really do. But shows you as a viewer. It shows electrical skateboard, right? Not longboard. It's electrical skateboard, and land fusion on here. But do you guys like body version of it, like the, or do you do like I do sometimes with like Rocket League? You just turn it on and let it go. Because when like RLCS and shit's running, I always turn it on. It's just like a shit. Maybe one day I'll have free shit to give away, but. I don't know what the hell I would give away, but. I would throw a little more out in there just to try to lighten that area up a little bit. Give it a little variety in there, you know? Brush is starting to fray, which is not a good sign. This is a relatively, I mean, I bought a bunch of these brushes specifically because the other one did, begin to fray. But it's still not a good sign if it's starting to do this already. I think appears a couple spots where I can. Nah, Alexa, skip. Yeah. When I walk on by, girls be looking like Dammy Fly. Pick to the beat, walk down the street and I move the free. Yeah. This is how I roll, animal pants I patrol. Certain fool with the big afro. See, raw, I got the glow, yow. Look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I want to, I'll bring up a little. It's. I won't go into too many details about what it is. It's kind of personal, and it's not really personal to me per se, but to some people I'm close to. And I knew they were going to need the help of my daughter and my oldest niece. And I'm trying to avoid like anything really that gives anything away about it, but I'm really impressed, and they keep doing it to me with their generation. People can give millennials a bunch of shit, and you know, I'm sorry, they deserve a lot better recognition than what they get. It needs to be said. There's so much that my daughter and my niece, who's like, I swear, just shy of a daughter to me sometimes. They're fucking amazing, you know. But it's funny because I talk with them a little bit about it, and they kind of, you know, worked out a bit of a game plan kind of thing of what needs to be done. And I just told them, you know, hey, I'm really proud of you guys. You know, I want to let you guys know that. You know, you guys amaze me. And then my daughter sends back, well, I'm really proud of you. How did she screwed it up and it was funny. Hold on, I'm going to read this. She says, well, I'm proud of you for raising my right. And then she sends back like 2 seconds later, like, star, me, right. And I was like, well, I got the social stuff done, you know, like let's put it this way, it's definitely something regarding like acceptance that's necessity. Um, so I'm going through some stuff, and you know, and I was like, this people are gonna need some help, and like I said, they were like, and they were right on it. They're like, okay, that's no problem. We got this resource, this resource, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like I said, and I said, well, I got you guys, you know, raised right on the socialist aspect of things, but clearly I need to work on the grammar. Which, I mean, at 21 years old, I think it's too late for me to really help with her. She's kind of on her own at this point. Fix her own shit. But I'll share a little story again. It's a very old story. It's not related directly to this, but it's a very inclusive kind of idea that came into play. My daughter had a friend who came out as gay in 7th grade. And it wasn't like, oh, he came out to her or their small group of friends or anything. It was like, no, I'm just out. Like, and from what I gathered, it generally, like, he was well protected, at least on the friend's end, you know, and it was not used very often against him, per se. Like, you know, like, this dude, middle school kids suck. Let's just all be honest. High school kids are dodgy as fuck. Middle school kids suck. Period. And this is someone whose son's about to go into middle school, too. So I was just expecting, you know, I mean, all the fights that I ever got into were all in middle school, with the exception of like two, I guess. You know, as far as actual physical fights, like, you know, most of the people I knew, like a majority of them, their fights were all in middle school because just hormones were out of fucking whack. Everybody's fucking going crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So I just expected, you know, shit to go sideways. And the fact that he actually, you know, came out and generally was accepted entirely by, you know, the kids in our school was fucking huge to me. I thought that was a big deal. I remember having friends that came out to me that, like, they didn't even know how to come out to me. You know, they were unsure about that. And I like to think of myself as a pretty inclusive dude, you know? Like, pretty accepting and I mean, I could see, again, middle school wise, I was pretty much an asshole. I'll see that. I could see that. So if you knew me then, I would see that they would have a bit of an issue with it. But I'd like to think, especially the people that knew me in middle school, but then afterwards, especially, would have been able a little bit smoother. But they had little issues coming out, and you know. And so to me, to know that, you know, hey, this kid's coming out, like I said, real young and took that gamble, you know. Like I know so many of my friends that did come out said they knew, you know, when they were little even. So to be that brave to be like, oh, I know, and I'm letting everybody else know. That was huge. Like, and I gave her and all her friends, like, you know, just mad props for that. Which they looked at me and went, you're old and nerdy. What the fuck do I care about your props? What the fuck are props? But the and I was impressed by that. Like I said. Then they did to me again. They made me really proud of them again in high school. They had a dude who was the equipment manager of the football team, who was special needs, um, and they had elected him as homecoming king, right? And then and I mean, they fucking celebrated this dude, man. And he was, you know, loved by the football team. He was loved by all the kids around, And again, that's just like, I just think back to some of my school days when, the way some of the kids behaved. And, now as adults, many of them are much, much better people, obviously. But, I just think that there were a lot of people that were assholes. And to see these, like, general across the board, these kids take these guys in and accept them for who they are and everything, and celebrate them for who they are. It's fucking amazing. And I don't think people pay enough attention to that. They focus on them like, millennials are killing, restaurants because they don't go out to eat. Like, well, they can't afford to go out to eat. It's like no fucking money out there right now. I mean, I'm having trouble finding jobs to pay $40,000 a year. I'm 40 years fucking old. I have a feeling shit's about to get worse, too. That's just me. I like patterns. I can see patterns a lot. And so, to me, I see a pattern that's telling me, that Bush recession was fucking nothing. Shit's about to hit the fucking fan. And if anybody's questioning why, I say this, I'll tell you. It's a personal anecdote, and I know that's not necessarily enough to base an entire, belief of the financial health of the country on. But I'll say this. Many, many years ago, when I was still working for Quest Diagnostics, I found myself, I'd bounced around a lot trying to move up the ladder. Okay. And they told us the way to do that is to keep trying out new things. Go through the lateral moves, as they called them, right? So I went through a bunch of them. When I first got to Quest, I was in a thing called remittance application, and I was really fucking good at it. I was ridiculously good at it. And I kind of got to a point where I felt if I stay here, they're going to kind of force me to stay here if I don't move soon. Because it's going to be like one of those things where, I made myself irreplaceable, so they won't let me be replaced, kind of thing. So I was like, all right, let me try to bounce around to this other position. And it was just something I was more curious about, so I went to this other one. But it was really a boring position. It did not match my skill set, let's put it that way. Because I was a fast typer, and the thing was that this newer position I went to was a spot that once you're finished your work for the day, you're finished your work for the day. There's nothing else to do. There's literally nothing else to do. Okay? They even gave me a secondary job, which had to take place at the end of the day. But, I couldn't, I had to wait. So when I finished stuff at like 10 in the morning, I'd have until about 3 in the afternoon until I could do the secondary job. Okay. So, not sure what happened there. Seems like it stopped. Alexa, resume. It paused. Okay. So one of the things I decided to start looking elsewhere, and I went to another position. All right. And this was one that was not a good fit for me at all. And if I had paid attention to the real description of the job I am currently in, this job would have been something tells me I shouldn't have ever gotten involved in that one. The job I went into after the second one I'd gone to was a thing called billing data acquisition. Basically, you call up doctors' offices that, they sent tests for requests or whatever to do, but they didn't send the complete paperwork. And because of that, we couldn't bill their insurance company or sometimes even the customer. We didn't have their full information. So, I had to call up the doctor's office and be like, hey, you guys didn't fill out all this information. I need to know who this is and how we can bill them. And they'd go, oh, okay, well, just send us a form and we'll fill it out. So I'd send them the form. Say, great, thank you. If you could send this back to me here, blah, 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 as fast as you can, that'd be great. Well, they'd never send it back. And I had to call again. And then we got to basically where it was about to go into bad debt, kind of thing. It's not even collection agency worthy because we can't even find the person, And so I had to call the doctor's office and be like, hey, we're about to seriously lose money on this, and we need to find this person. And they'd be like, oh yeah, it was send us a thing, and we'll send it back. And then they wouldn't send it back, and I'd get in trouble because I wasn't getting people that had no skin in the game to do my job for me because I couldn't do it. I'm asking people, hey, I need you to tell me how to get this thing paid, and they'd go, oh, well, we don't care. All right. There are people that did that job that were amazing at it, and as hard as I tried, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get people that have no skin in the game to do what I needed them to do. Couldn't get these doctors to give me the information I needed. So, I didn't do well, and I did so badly that I got put into a write-up situation, and I was just about 1 foot out the door. They were ready to fire my ass. And I was looking, and at this point I knew I was in trouble, and I got to find another job. So I'm looking everywhere. And I'm applying. I got a few callbacks, but nothing that would ever pan out, I get to an interview over the phone or something, and then it would just dry up and go away. So maybe they got somebody, maybe they just closed out the offer, or who knows, I don't know. For the time that binds, close your mind. So I'm just trying to relook at my little test run. Very, very to be true. Each day is but I'll admit that I'm a fool because you're mine. So I was I'm looking around, I couldn't get anything. And then, right after that, all starts going down. The big recession hit. Alright. So we're talking now, we're in 2009, whatever. Boom. Recession hits, everything goes to shit. And now I know I'm not getting a job for a few years. You know what I mean? And I was right. I mean, it took 2 years before I even got the interview at Quest. At Siemens, I mean. But hindsight being 2020, I never would have taken the damn thing because the job I have at Siemens basically can really be broken down into two pathways. The first is running interference so the plant doesn't get yelled at. Okay? So the people that call me, my customers, have no access to the plants at all. They're not allowed to talk to them. They yell at me. That's my job. If I'd known I was going to be an emotional whipping post, I would not have taken the job. Then, the other thing that end of my job is basically asking the plants, who know they are basically bulletproof because the customers aren't supposed to reach them, if they will do my job for me and help out the customer. And you say, Brian, aren't they some sort of... yeah, now we're going to skip this one too. Alexa, skip. Much I love this song. There's a lot of other stuff on there I like to listen to. I never hear because I'm always the same stuff. Alexa, skip. And see, the thing is, I've been applying out. No, we just did this the other day. Alexa, skip. But like I said, I've been trying to apply elsewhere for some time now. And it feels a lot like the trying to get out of the BDA thing. I should mention, by the way, that my ass was saved in that job because the guy that was my team lead or whatever got transferred out, and they brought in somebody else who had been my first team lead, who had seen me when I first got hired from Quest. And she knew how good I was at my original job. So she was like blindsided at the fact that I was on write-up. She was like, dude, what's happening? And I told her, I said, I can't do a job where I'm asking other people to do my job. And that's what this job is. And so she's like, all right, we're going to get you taken care of. They should not be ready to shit can you for finding a job that you're just not good at. You know? You've been good at other things. There's no reason to fire you because you're bad at this one. So she saved my ass and kept me working, but there is a broken feeling, that occurs when you start at one job, you bounce around trying to follow their pathway to promotions, and you find yourself after, God, it was 6 years by this point, I think, 5 or 6 years that I'd been there. And I found myself in the exact same position I had started in. So it was like kind of a kick in the balls that here I am back in remittance application, doing exactly what I had left originally, trying to not find myself pigeonholed in. And I was pigeonholed in it. And I wasn't getting out of it. So it's one of those double-edged swords. Like, I'm very thankful that she saved my ass and kept me from going on unemployment when the recession hit. But, same point, it was like, I wanted to be more than that, and I wasn't getting anywhere if I got back into, I was a big black mark on my record, and now, can't go anywhere else. And I'm doing the thing that they know that I'm super good at, so they don't want to get rid of me there. So I found myself, like I said, pigeonholed, and I eventually left as soon as I got an opportunity to leave, which again was stupid. I should have paid attention to what was going on, what I was being told. But now that I'm trying to find a job again, and I'm not getting a fucking sniff back, the only thing I get are rejection letters. Like, I don't get to even the first interview. Or if I get to a first interview, it turns out that the job I applied for is trying to, offer me $15,000 less per year than I make now. And has just a longer commute and all the other bullshit. It's like, no, we can't do that. I applied to one, I won't lie, it's about a mile away from here. I could probably do significantly less because I wouldn't have to drive as much. I mean, hell, I might grab a bike and try to take it that way rather than, waste gas. But I haven't heard anything back in a few days on that one. Almost a week now at this point. So, anyways, I got to be right back because it's good night to kitties time, and then we'll come back in and just try to keep working. We're going to try to get the ground done. We'll try to finish that up, and then tomorrow night we'll see if we can finish up the main figure here. And this ground's not going to take long. I might be able to get into the code again. We'll see. Hold on. So we'll go with this one. Okay, go into the editor. And mute. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Now, where were we? Children's bedtime so rudely monotonous. Oh. I was gonna say, it better work. Worked before. Alright. So, long story short, I know it's too late. I was trying to get through with all that. It's like I said, I feel like there's a lot of similarities to what was going on then and now with me trying to find a place to, not be where I am now. And I just, I don't know, it's, personal anecdotes don't mean nothing. It's in the longer scheme of things. But just they're suspiciously similar. So when I say that, people give millennials bullshit for claiming they're not hardworking or something like that, it's like, nah, my kid works like crazy. And most of our friends do too. And it's just they have fucking dick for opportunities. And their fucking college tuitions and shit are outrageous, even compared to what mine were. Mine, I went to a private art school. Like, it's like. The only reason I technically don't have any student loans is we actually did a consolidation with other debt loans a long time ago to help my parents. And we still do with my wife's student loan, and that's still killing us, and she hasn't been in school for 20 years. Well, 18, I guess. 19, 20, something like that. I'm trying to think. She graduated like right after we started dating. 19 years? Whatever. No, 18 years. Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction. Sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields, the bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave their all to the poor. Yeah. I'm probably repeating this story again because I never remember what I said here or what I said on my Facebook streams before I started on Twitch. And honestly, nobody was here to remind me whether or not I said it already or not, so it's your fault. I watched a special one morning. You're high, I swear to God. I watched a special on Black Sabbath. What is your problem? Oh, fuck. Anyway. So, it was a documentary. I'm trying to think of anything that could have triggered that thing. About Black Sabbath. And, was like crazy, actually interesting, but it cracked me up in a bunch of spots because now, as I've mentioned many times on here, I worked for the Phillies for a number of years as a host, and a lot of the hosts, they're retired guys, I'll just say they did their time. You know what I mean? Kind of so. They did their working times. They're retired now. They do this part time. But they're a feisty group. Let's put it that way. So a lot of times you have these old people just screaming at each other. And they have a difference of opinion of anything, like whether or not it was sunny that day. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing. They get it all over each other. I love these guys to death. I want to make that absolutely clear first before it comes off some being an asshole. I'm plenty of times sorry I am an asshole. This is not one of them. No, but so they'll fight a lot of times, and and sometimes they're yelling at each other, and it's because they can't hear each other. Some of the guys are really old. I'm not trying to knock them. They're just they have lived their lives, man. Age does stuff to people. So there's my insight for the day. No, age does stuff. No, it's almost it was almost like adorable when they get into some of their yelling matches with each other. Okay. And I'm watching this documentary, and it's funny because they're doing stuff where it's behind the scenes, I guess, as they're recording an album or whatever, and then they're touring, and playing shows or whatever, or they're playing a show. I think it's just one. I think it's all from the same one. But anyway, unfortunately, I only caught it like halfway through already, so I don't know what the rest of it was. The breakdown really was. But there's a part in there where Ozzy's freaking the fuck out about his headphones not being plugged in. Well, at first he said he couldn't hear anything. Then turns out the headphones weren't plugged in. I'm screaming like this, Ozzy's fucking he's yelling like fucking, and he's screaming at everybody around him, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, how much it reminds me of some of the guys I work with at the Phillies. And then it started cracking me up because I'm like thinking to myself, Ozzy's definitely in that age group. All right, so he's definitely in the same group as these guys. It's just he's a rock star, I should say just he's a rock star. Maybe he's a rock star. So it's like he's Ozzy. And so it cracks me up that here he is behaving just like these guys do. Screaming at people about, and then it turns out he just had it plugged in right, or whatever, like. And it was just cracking me up because I'm like, oh my God, this could be at the Phillies. And then, like, the next scene, like a minute later, it's showing him on stage rocking the fuck out. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy for my brain to wrap around. Because 2 seconds ago, I was looking at, like, I'll say their names because you guys don't know who the fuck they are. But like 2 seconds ago, I was looking at John and Bill screaming at each other. And now I'm looking at Ozzy fucking rocking out on stage. I gotta move this thing for a second. So you can actually hear me. I don't know how bad this is. But I'm adding a bunch of different little touches. I mean, I did a little of the alizarin crimson, using some of the cadmium yellow medium. Little titanium white. Um, just kind of throwing them in and mixing them up together. Really trying to make all this stuff feel united, you know? Little things like that'll do it. A little touch here and there. It affects your mind in a subconscious place. Especially if you can bounce the greens against the touches of the alizarin. As your brain starts to mix those, it makes it browner. Again, the important thing there is to give it texture, at least to me. Again, I don't know if you guys get to see this, because again, I know how very little my shit comes across here. Yeah. It's because of the bad camera. One day I'll get a good one. I swear, one day I will. But like, it's about giving it a little life, a little oomph here and there, just give it enough pop, but doesn't distract from the rest of the painting. Yeah, this is a secondary area. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really need the viewer locking in down here or anything like that. That's not for this. It's not for them really to bam on. You know. Now, I will say it'll be a little interesting to see how I pull off the this trip now. I'm just trying to too far. Yeah, I said I'm going to stream. It's probably going to be drawings. It won't be anything, you know, super. It's not going to be any painting or anything like that. I may stream one day of House Flipper to show you guys how I do it. You know, I've already done a lot in the game, so I won't be like showing you all the opening things. You know, opening jobs. But I mentioned the other day I did pretty good on my one little house flip. I was quite proud of myself. The burned out house, I netted over $16,000 in profit on that one. So I was pretty proud of that. I took some photos in the game, so I could show those off too. Yeah. But then, let's see here. It's a little weird to me in the game that the same guy bought both my houses. That's a little strange. But whatever. Cause I sold the first shack that you get too, and but I only made like $1,000 off that one. I was kind of pissed off on that one. Because I had done a lot of stuff. Like I had done the bathroom, I had bought a new bed, I had bought, new desk, all that shit, Got the fridge I put in there, and, But, regardless, this is the one I was going to use. I'm going to say, real quick, I'm going to distract myself. I was going to use cerulean here, but I thought to myself, cerulean's actually already a color I've got a pretty hefty load on in this. And so then it hit me like, what if I use the turquoise? Lighten that up. Because, I was coming down the basement steps from putting the kids to bed. And I have my painting in view of Luray Caverns. The one that is the entire reason why we're going on this trip to Luray this week. This coming week. Well, we're not going to spend the week in Luray, but it's one of the stops. And there's one of the first real times I started playing around with this turquoise a lot. And there's some cool stuff in there, and I was like, "Oh, you know what? Let's take one of these lighter turquoises." Is that right? Whatever, doesn't matter. And let's give this a wing and see what it does. So while my original color test had it as a very cerulean-like blue, we're gonna shift that up a little bit. I'm going to say hi, by the way, to anybody that might be viewing me from my buddy Mike's channel. Looks like he's hosting me. I missed the thing again. Either my announcement didn't pop right or something. Or it happened when I was away upstairs. But anybody's watching me from there, hello. Click follow on me too, please. I would appreciate it a great deal. That's why I can't tell. I can't tell, like, it says one person's viewing right now, but I don't know who. I don't know if they're from Mike's or if Mike's views will look like my views or what, or, like if someone's viewing me from there. I know I get the view, but I don't know if comes across in the, the data breakdown here. So, I don't know. There's still elements I'm confused with when it comes to this. I'm very easily fooled, but... I have not heard back, actually. I mentioned the other night how I complained about that Venice show that I sent an application for, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'd love to show your work. It's $580 per piece to show your work." And I was like, "Go fuck yourselves." In my head, I sent a very polite letter back, but in my head, I'm going, "Go eat my fucking ass, you pieces of dog shit." Anyways, ooh, that little bit of ultraviolet picked up on that. Ooh, I like that a lot. Oh, we're gonna use that. Oh, that's coming back. So these are little accidents I love to stumble upon. Throw that fucker in here. Oh, beautiful. Anyway, so I holy shit, it's 10:30 already. God damn, I fucked this up. Okay. So we're gonna stop here and then we'll finish this up. Hopefully tomorrow night we can finish this. God, I hope we can finish this. Should I keep going a little longer? We'll go a little longer. Why not? Maybe another 10 minutes. Really don't want to forget that, so I'm gonna hit that up real quick. The I forget what I was saying. Oh, so no, I saw something else that was taking place in Levittown. It's calling itself the International Salon of Contemporary Art. I believe is what the full name of it was. And I just wasn't sure about it, so I tried to send them some information. Like, hey, I'd like some more information, please. I'm an artist in the Philadelphia region, and I interested in showing my work. If you guys like to see it, I just wanted to find out beforehand how much it would cost to enter. Trying to see if there's like if it's a juried show, if there's a jury fee or whatever, or if they're going to drop a $589 per piece fee, and I will have to go laughing at them again. I tried to tell that group too that like when because they sent something back and they got a little terse with me about like, oh well, we told you there'd be a fee. It's like, yes, but you didn't say what the fee was. You didn't say how much it was. Yeah. It's like it's one thing to say, oh, there's going to be an entrance fee. I pay dues or whatever at the Chester County Art Association. Those can be, and then when you show, there's a like $10 to show with the one gallery or whatever in Exton for like 3 pieces. So it's not bad. $10 for 3 pieces. Okay, I can handle that for it's rental space basically. Okay, that's fine. That's a reasonable amount of money. Because I'm white and you are also white. I only like black girls, the brown girls, the cafe au lait, the caramel girls and mocha girls. Just blow me away. If you're whitey, I want you to be in every fantasy. But if you're a whitey, say 90-90, you're just not the girl for me. Ooh. Oh, I hate vanilla ice cream. I like chocolate instead. I hope she likes soul food with a little Wonder Bread. The wrong fever, 'cause that just isn't right. I am not a racist. Some of my best friends are white. I only prefer black girls, the brown girls, the cafe au lait, the caramel girls and mocha girls. Just blow me away. If you're a cracker, you better get blacker, or else you best get out. It is no mystery. I like a sister. See, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh. Ebony and ivory. And we'll sing Christmas carols around the old Kwanzaa tree. Probably not the issue. It's dignity, it's class. It's all about her heart. Okay, it's partly about that ass. There's the black girls, the brown girls, the cafe au lait, the caramel girls and mocha girls. Just blow me away. If you're a crown key, you're singing the wrong key. It's the honest truth. The skin that she's swelling in must contain melanin. That is the fountain of youth. Robert De Niro. David Bowie. To a certain extent. Ted Danson. Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond. Yeah. All right. All right. I'll be honest, that did not go where I thought it was going to go, and that's really nicely. There's just a nice tone in that. That tone to me is like, how did my one buddy Mike put it once? Mike, the guy who did the Wilma commission for him, or he commissioned me to do Wilma for him. But anyway, he used to describe Macy Gray's voice as having like that beautiful, like dark Coke bottle, like glass sound. Does that make sense? I know there's nobody here who's going to answer that question, so it's all right. But you know what I mean, like a kind of raspiness, but it's just kind of nice. I don't know. I can't see you on the hill. Why do I? Okay, so I really expected to do more in the coat tonight because I was going to just leave that shit there, but this came up. So what I think I'm going to do, because I always listen to myself when I say you should stop doing this right now, and I never do. I'm going to do some touches here of these little coloring, just because once I put the actual other paint on top, it's going to look fine. Right now it's probably confusing the shit out of everybody, but it's alright. Telling you, it'll be fine. We're fine. How are you? And we'll do a little bit of the cobalt, clear cobalt gold, like nice and clean. There we go. I'm just gonna throw a few more of those in there. It's fine. I am being a little slapdash with that because I can be. So this is all gonna end up very much covered up tomorrow night. It's like, all right. This is gonna be a race, man. This is gonna be a real race. I'm just gonna try to again put some markers down. I just want to make notes, so I know what I'm doing when I come back here tomorrow. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing ever, but at least it'll be a hint of what I should be doing. I put out some cadmium red light. Again, the color I hate the name of, but it's called Flesh Tint. And I put out some more of the Azo Orange, which I think is... I'm not sure I'm going to be using that cadmium red light. It's just too close to the medium for what I want to do in this, that I think it's just going to sit off to the side. I fucked up, and I didn't mean to squeeze that much out. It just sort of, like, my tube got, like, seemed to be jammed. Like it almost skinned inside, and I had to pop it like a zit. So a bunch came out. And here I am saying I'm just making notes, and I'm probably going to finish this part at least. You know, like I said, it's probably not going to come into play now. I think it was a mistake. You know, the old Bob Ross happy accident. It's not really happy because I'm pissing away a little cadmium red money. You know. And if you've watched this channel before, I've said it many times how much I hate pissing away money when it has no results. I don't mind if I put out too much of a color and I end up using it, but I have this feeling that I'm not going to touch that color because I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think everything I'll get out of this, a touch of the yellow, not touch of the yellow, touch of the orange, and yeah. But let's go with that. Just put a few streaks. No, it's better go this way. Yeah, I should have done that right the first time. Yeah, it's gonna be a little fucked up there. That's looking alright. That's looking good. Again, I don't know how much that's visible to you guys either, though. That's why I tell you. I'll tell you again. I tell you again. I tell you again. You never listen to me. I know, because I don't have any likes. But go over to the Facebook page. It's in the chat here. All right, not too far down. All right. I post the picture at the end of the night of what I did. It's the best place to get, I think, the most information out of. I'm getting better about trying to update my site, my Two Society Studios page. Which I didn't put up here, but I will. I'm not going to do it now. It's Two Society Studios, number 2, Society Studios, all one word. You know, but it's not as updated as often as the Facebook pages, because it's just easier to update the Facebook page like that, as opposed to going into Dreamweaver and having to update the page. And I'm sure there's probably something by this point that makes it much easier to update my actual website, but I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to hunt it out anytime soon. So I'm just going to see how this looks to you guys. Yeah, you sort of see it. And now this will be the other notes. Just a little bit of touches orange. This is a little nips, not crack the bottom. Put the gear in. Now you're steering like Mario and Dreddy's. Because I can make a wicked noise like. This is the house of pain. We're far from plain, but we're not fancy. Running Nancy, so just say no, but I say go. What you gotta say? Let's hit the hay. Hey, yo, by the way. Top of the morning to you. Now, I want to make it clear one thing on here, like I just saying, basically, that when I say if you're a hoe, all my friends know, you should know that, I mean, whether you're a guy or a girl, if you're a hoe, all my friends know. I am non-discriminatory when I tell people if they're a hoe. She was a hoe. Faux show. Top of the morning to you. And then sometimes when that, like, it looks a little rough, I'm going to just throw in a little more back on there. That might be the only place where that red might pop into play tomorrow. Is if I'm looking at something I think is a little rough, but I don't want to use the same cadmium red medium. You know what I mean? Like, it'll give it just enough variation there to give it its own place in the world. Alright, let's call it, I think, for now. I got my notes in. I don't think I'm going to get very far with this otherwise. Alright. Put in a few spots where it might be a little heavier. And that's it. I have the feeling I'm going to go back in here tomorrow and be like, that's too much, or that's not enough in one spot, and then this spot should be empty, or whatever, you know, like, it's how it usually plays out. So yeah, it's time to go. I will stay here all night if I don't stop myself. So, there's not a lot left. That's a really good sign. Because I got stuff I got to do. Like I have to take care of tomorrow, to get ready for the trip. Let's pop on me again. So we're definitely in a good place. This is a chance to finish this tomorrow. Like I said, I wish I had gotten it done tonight. If I didn't have to work tomorrow, if I had taken that off too, I would have just stayed and finished this. But it is what it is. It's over 3 hours already, so hopefully tomorrow we're in here for we got that. All right, that little area there. A little bit of touch up on the blue, on the turquoise, right? So a little lighter. And hands, the yellow areas, and the hair. Because there's no shot of his face at all. Like this, it almost looks like I have a tint of his face on there, but there's none on there. So, and the tool. So I'm going to take a note real quick. Hold on. Friday. Tomorrow's the 6th, right? 7/6. All right. Tool on the desk, so I don't forget it. All right. Calves. Lighter tones on the pants. Yellow. We'll put a detailing. I should know what that is. Just to be careful. And shading. How about that? Okay. And then what? Hair. Hands. Geez, now it looks like a long list. It's not long, but it looks that way. Their hands, so tools on the desk, hands, hair, yellow. What else? Oh, and just a little orange and pink highlights. On coat. All right. So that's going to be it. I got my little checklist here now at this point, and it's going to be trying to wrap it up as fast as possible tomorrow. So I don't know what time I'm going to get in here. It's a matter of trying to decide, is it better to... Well, I guess I got to do this before I pack up, because I got to pack up this computer. So I guess we're going to try to get in here around 7. So we'll make that a date. 7 to 7:30, depending on my ride home. That's what I have to use. All right. So 7 to 7:30 tomorrow night. We'll wrap this fucker up, hopefully within an hour to an hour and a half. Peace.